Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, a bit of context. I mean, I have no time for the Labour Party, their policies or Starmer or anything that they do, quite honestly, because I think they're useless. But Angela Rayner is a decent person. She's one of the most relatable person that I've ever seen in government. And I just feel people are just chasing her down. I mean, from the point of view of clarity, a lawyer's not going to give a decision when they're buying you a house relative to stamp duty. That's going to be done by an accountant. A lawyer will always turn around and say, you need to seek legal advice.
Well, it depends, Chris, doesn't it? If you're just doing a straightforward up and down and moving from house A to house B, that's fine. But if in house A you have this complicated arrangement with your now ex-husband and the father of your child, and you also sometimes live there so that you can be with your child in that house, that is much more complex, isn't it, than a straight... I can see why you would get a lawyer for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just obviously the accountant's going to have the better understanding of the law in terms of stamp duty than whatever. But they just seem to keep going after. Now, maybe, I mean, obviously, I believe the election year was a very big part of why the election was won, because obviously I believe Keir Starmer is pretty much devoid of everything in terms of personality, and she's that sort of shining light, that sort of relatable person that's come from a very difficult background and battled her way through and everything else. And I think it would be huge. I just don't like bullies, and I think it would be hugely disappointing.
That's interesting. So even as a Conservative voter who has got no interest in Labour, you think she's being bullied or has been?
Yeah, I think it's outrageous. I think she's a thoroughly decent person, and she's doing her best. And you know, they're always going to put these people in difficult situations because she's just a normal working class girl that's found herself in politics in a position of power. And,
well, hang on, you say that as though it just happened by accident. She's worked very hard to get there, hasn't she?
Oh no, I'm totally going to acknowledge that. I mean, you know, I've just got nothing but respect for her. And I just think she comes across as that decent person. So, yeah, I just wish she was a Conservative, but there you go.
Well, if I see her, I'll tell her that, Chris.
I'm conflicted on this. I think two things can be right at the same time. Yeah. I have real empathy for her situation with her son, and I understand what she was trying to achieve. So let's say, you know, I don't think she's an awful person. I don't think she was trying to do anything wrong. But neither do I think most of the public are ever trying to do anything wrong. And yet we are shown very little leniency anymore in this country. Yeah. And so I think that a lot of people are very quick to go throw the book at her because you threw the book at me. And so I think that we need to kind of get a grip.
Who's throwing the book at us? Is it the government HMRC?
I'll give you an example. You know, you go 4 miles an hour over the 20 mile an hour speed limit. It's £100 fine. You've got to attend a thing. It's 4 miles an hour. I don't think that is. Do you know what I mean? It's just the proportionality of a lot of things that we face now. If we make a mistake, if you do something wrong, and we don't have the money to pay an expert to look at our affairs first, you know, and sometimes you make really innocent mistakes. I mean, driving in London, my gosh, you know, I don't want to drive anymore because can I park here? It says Monday and Tuesday, except on a Thursday when, you know, it's raining. You don't know, and you don't mean to break the law, but you have to face the consequences. And I think that's why I have empathy for her situation as a woman, as a mother, you know.
But I think you've raised such an interesting point, and I wonder how many other people feel the same. You're saying you lot expect us to constantly take the medicine, so it's time for you to take the medicine.
Yeah. Which is awful. I don't want anybody to take medicine. I want a world where somebody can go, OK, you were just 4 miles over the limit. I can see what happened here. There were no cars around you. You didn't actually cause any, you know. Yeah. There's none of that anymore. It just feels like we're always constantly, you know, you didn't pay this on time, so you've got to do this. And it's like, well, I tried to pay, but the you know, my internet was down. It doesn't care. That doesn't matter.
You believe she should resign?
Yeah, I do. I utterly agree with the earlier caller. From parking fines to being fined for the wrong train ticket, God forbid, a minor tax return mistake, and we get hammered. She's both housing minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, and she should be aiming for the absolute highest standard, and she's failed.
And if it's an honest mistake, you think still? Because, I mean, I understood what our previous caller before the headlines were saying when she felt we are not given any quarter, so why should she be?
Yeah.
Do you think there is enough evidence that we ordinary citizens aren't given enough quarter?
We're not given enough quarter, absolutely.
When we make a mistake.
But, you know, if I was in her position and I had a complex family situation with funds in trust, whatever, I would get the appropriate advice. She knew she should do that. I'm trying to sell my house at the moment. If I managed to knock 40 grand off the tax, then wonderful. But I wouldn't take the risk because I would be absolutely prosecuted to the ends of the earth.
But she did take advice because of the complexities of the house being in trust for her son.
You take proper advice, don't you? She's in a position where she can both access, you know, the highest KC in tax, and it has an obligation to do so, and she didn't.
Right, so you think this could still bite them all on the bum, basically?
I think it should, and I voted Labour.
And what do you think of her generally as a politician?
Not bad. I've got quite a bit of time for her, but I think this is an outrageous... I don't think it's a mistake.
I think Angela Rayner will be gone either by this evening or the weekend, and I'm very sorry about that, Sheila, because I've been a carer for many years, and I empathise a great deal with her background. But it's the optics, isn't it? They say that, don't they? It's how it seems, not what it is. And we've seen that with so many previous ministers, especially in the Tories. And I'm very sad. I think she'll come back.
Can I ask you? Well, she hasn't gone yet. So can I ask you, Anthony? Are you not moved at all at the complexity of her situation with her child after a recent divorce?
Yes.
The reason I ask that question is, if it can be proved fairly promptly, I'm not talking about a long investigation. If it can be proved fairly promptly that this was an honest mistake, i.e. there was no attempt, there was no shenanigans to not pay your tax, anything like that, then should she really lose her job over that?
Well, I think she'll have to go herself. She must do it. She must fall on the sword because it's how it looks, isn't it, Sheila?
Well, I'm looking at how it looks.
Yes.
Well, hang on. And seeing more detail, I'm minded to say, well, that's a mistake I can see could happen.
It's just a precedent, isn't it? As you said, Louise Hay went over a phone thing like years ago.
Insurance,
Exactly. And it's a terrible thing for Angela because she is so popular. That's, I think, will save her. A bit like Mandelson. He had to go twice, don't forget. So nice he went twice and came back. I'm sure that she will recover, but it's the press, isn't it? They've been at her for months now.
They have. I think they fear her, or someone fears her.